Welcome to a new episode of DevSecOps Talks.
Episode number 100.
Woohoo!
Oh, with Paulina, Mate.
Yeah,
Andre, and who you guess who?
you can see.
Oh, you can see Julian. He is back. But you see, he lost his skill of introducing himself on the podcast.
He
Takes a
hasn't
couple
been
of
training for
moments.
that one. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yes. Welcome back,
I
Mister,
haven't
for the
done
special
this
episode. I
What's up,
didn't
guys? You.
It's 100 episode. That's what's up. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Doing it live for a change. So, like, if you watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn, I think you should be able to type the live chat, and we probably will see that in the studio.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So we are streaming to both YouTube and LinkedIn right now. Hope that it's working. Not sure. Let's find out. We're learning. So episode 100. In the beginning, it was only me, Andre, and Julian. How did we start this, Andre? Like, you have the year here. You thought it was going to be 2020, but it was...
yes. So the podcast is on air for 6 years and some. And my feeling was that we started in 2020, right before COVID.
Yeah.
Which was the case. Like, if you check the date of the first episode that went live, it was like 24th of February.
Yeah.
Pretty much 2 or 3 weeks before the COVID hit the Europe on a full swing. But I went to Telegram to see when we started to talk about that with Matthias.
Yeah.
And we should give credit to Matthias. That was his idea. He wanted to start a podcast. I kind of always wanted to do the podcast, but I didn't want to do that alone.
Yeah.
So we started to talk on 19th of December of 2019. Matter of fact, the 5XL, my company, like, was also kind of got started about the same time, like maybe 2 or 3 days later. I've been talking to another person about starting the company. So apparently the end of 2019 was a lot of stuff. I started a lot of stuff. I also did the first Ironman, and the only Ironman I did.
Yeah.
So I was coming hot from doing the Ironman Barcelona in October, where we went together with Julian, by the way.
Yeah.
And I guess I felt that now I can do everything after doing the Ironman Barcelona.
It was 6 years ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It took
6
us a
years.
while to record 100 episodes, but to start with, I haven't thought we would do that many.
No, I kind of lost track as well. But yeah. So I remember when I mean, we met, Andre. You were consulting at the company I was working, and I was also changing work in the same area. Like, I need to learn more about stuff, right? When I'm changing, and I realized that the new place I'm joining, they were lacking maybe some knowledge there. Like, and one of the things to learn more was to have this podcast, and who can learn more about from, except like Andre and then you, of course. So it was great learning for me in the beginning, like the first, I don't know, year, 2 years. I don't know, what did we talk about? I remember the one that we talked about Semver, and Julian was ranting some crazy. I had to...
The most famous episode, and I think we even have a transcription now on the website.
Oh, that would be a fun transcription. Damn, you were ranting like crazy then.
I still hate it, to be honest.
You can still get to rage about it now as well.
We can also discuss all the topics we covered. Well, not all of them, but
All
the
of
major
them?
themes that we covered on the podcast, if you want. And another start that's to bring, which is kind of nice coincidence. We haven't planned that. But we did 50K downloads today. At least, well, it's actually 49,900 something, but Podbean already started to round it up to 50K.
Yeah.
And we're probably, with this one, we're going to cross 50K. If you count YouTube, that's like all the audio without the YouTube episodes.
Yeah.
So I guess like with the YouTube, we already crossed 50K, but nice coincidence.
Yeah, and I mean, technology-wise, we started with only. Do you remember that first we had only recording sound, and then I have to download the sound like files,
Yes.
and then I have to cut them together to make it work, and then upload them. And then, this was before AI, right?
On Linux. Matthias
Yeah.
was doing that on Linux.
Yeah. Fiddling around, and then we uploaded to Pod, and then we moved to
Podbean, I think.
Podbean. We were staying in there.
That's for
a long
hosting.
time. Yeah. And then we moved it around a little bit, but now we ended up on this solution, and now we can even stream this live to the different providers, and the editor is much more simple as well. So I have had a lot of impact. I mean, the technology we're using as well, right, changed a lot over these 6 years.
Yeah, I automated the publishing pipeline as well. It's all in Python.
Yeah, much more similar. But what was the first year? What did we discuss about then? Do you remember? Julian, do you remember?
I guess you're going to tell us.
I remember it was a lot about cloud infra and security. That was the main topic.
Yeah, we talked a lot about CI/CD.
Yeah.
This was 2020. CI/CD was a really big topic back then, right? Yeah.
I think
it's
it's
still.
Yeah, it's not going out, right?
It's not going out of the out of fashion, because it's more like how do you make change to your system? Well, you kind of need a way to do that.
Yeah.
And we also discussed plenty of like access control model. It was very centered around security. Where the name DevSecOps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowadays, it's a little bit like of everything, but it's interesting too. I think the real, from what I remember, is like, hey, we have no time to do a full-time blown, setup. It's like, let's do it. Let's just talk and record and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I think it's. I remember Matthias making a lot of progress into the research and which tool we should use and everything. I remember building the website with Hugo.
Yeah.
Like that was like pretty hard. I did not expect it to. Honestly, the web is still hard, but it everything little by little it got done, and you compound that over years, and you have like pretty solid foundation for. So it's up to you guys to take it to the next level. Go.
We've been discussing that. Yes, there are plans.
Nice.
I mean, one thing that kind of happened is we went from 2 weeks, I think once every 2 weeks, and at some point we had a little bit of slowdown where we were like doing like more like once a month. Now we're actually doing almost every week.
Nice.
We missed a week when I forget to press the button to run the Python script, like if the life caught up with me, but generally we are doing like once a week now.
Yeah, and we plan now for like 5 weeks, 5 next coming weeks. So yeah, a lot more things, more guests, more topics, right? It's just, but as I said, it started like we just show up for the podcast, we press record, and then we discuss. Sometimes just like what we read like a couple hours before.
Yeah, I guess the first time was a little bit like hesitation. We were not too sure what to talk about. But as soon as we just relaxed and started talking the way we would, among friends.
Flows.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what we would be talking about if we meet,
exactly.
somewhere, with a little bit more structure, I would say.
So at the same time, the focus from the day one was like practitioners to practitioners. So we talk about what we use, how we do things, trying to distill the marketing stuff and
Yeah.
trying to avoid the guest who would just push the commercial narrative, because
Yes.
nowadays there is quite a bit of podcasting, which is like all about that. Just people, come. All the guests just come to talk about their stuff, what they're doing, what they're selling. That's kind of around the value, around the relationship. Matthias likes to bring guests. I'm kind of trying to push back time to time. But we time to time getting those squeaky guys in, but we're trying to keep the quality up with the guests there.
Yeah, we're trying to keep them so they're not just going crazy about the tool that they have that's gonna solve all the problems. I'm more like day-to-day operations. How would you do this stuff? Like how would you work with a supply chain tool to protect your workload? Not just like, oh, by the way, there's a big risk of supply chain and here's a tool that just fix everything for you. Like we are practitioners and I want to know how, right?
That's true. I remember now because it was. I think because we met at KubeCon, Kubernetes was all the rage,
Yeah.
and it was an influx of just nonsense coming, and like some of them remind me of Twitter for pets. It's like, why would I do this? And we were like, man, we must not be the only one in that situation where we just like. I don't think the marketing was bad. It's just that it was overloading. And I feel we're going a little bit the same with AI now. It's like you don't know which side is up even because they're selling you tools. Yeah, I cannot even figure out what is the product, and everything is half baked. The people were still figuring things out.
Yeah.
And so we started discussing like, what did you figure it out? And and then we were exchanging ideas like, oh, that's cool. And we were sharing projects and looking. I remember spending a lot of time on GitHub, just browsing through repo to, find out like how they do things. Read the Kubernetes source code, which was a little bit scarier than I expected. But at the end, everything gets fixed. Put enough people and everything in it, and it goes.
That's how kind of industry went. Like those were the trends we are covering. So like Kubernetes kind of became a commodity, boring. I mean, there are people still kind of talking about that time to time, but it's like it's just there. Also, when we started in 2020, the Terraform was a thing still. Like it was quite hot. It was just only 5 years old. Now it's like 11 years. And infrastructure as code space feels kind of stagnant-ish. I mean, like Terraform is still like the biggest thing out there. We did talk about Pulumi.
Yeah, Paul, of course.
Which promised to revolutionize infrastructure as code. Looks like they didn't get enough traction to have relevance. What else did we cover? So we basically cover like if you stay with infrastructure as code. I mean, I think infrastructure as code as a concept still relevant. There is a lot of crazy people running around LinkedIn and Twitter saying my agent gonna do my infrastructure. Well, yeah, maybe, but like it's not about doing infrastructure per se. The infrastructure as code is a contract between humans, and it's a tool of change management rather than just a way of doing infrastructure. So it's much more than that. And I think it's gonna here to stay. It might evolve to adopt for the agentic AI in ways that we haven't seen yet. But I think the infrastructure as code as a change management tool or contract, it's here to stay. Immutable infrastructure, that was like another concept that we touched in the beginning, and I feel we actually need to revisit those like once a year and see how if they are changing. But then like going back to infra as code and Terraform, so we've seen Terraform on the rise. Then HashiCorp got acquired by IBM. They changed the license. I don't remember if they changed license before they got acquired or after. or they went public, and then they changed the license, and then they got acquired by IBM, and they also we've seen the rise of the rise.
Right. Yeah.
And people running around peddling OpenTofu, we've seen that. Yes, Paulina.
No, I meant a bit of the switch from the Terraform over to the OpenTofu, but I see still more Terraform usage at least.
Like there is still like you need to have like a kill proposition, like the kill and kill feature of something that would make you switch.
Here is something else. Like the Inference Code episode from 2020 is still the highest one on Spotify. Number 2.
I think because people just start listening from the beginning, maybe, and it's also like a long tail. It's accumulates.
Yeah, but it's kind of big step. I mean, the top one. If you're talking about like what people listen to, I have the Spotify ones. You have the other one. We can compare them as well, right? But I mean, yeah, true. The first one was Inference Code. That was the first episode most listened to. The second one is actually episode 61, GitHub Actions, CD2. And then we're going down to software supply chain attacks, episode 46. Yeah. And episode number 2 is actually GitOps. So the first one was Inference Code, second one was GitOps. Yeah.
I think first 10 episodes we went through the foundations. That's where it was useful. So those would make sense to record. And now when we have a little bit of credentials to our name, I think it would make sense to reach out to people who, like, for instance, wrote the book about infrastructure as code and bring them and have a conversation. Because, like, when you're just starting, you had, like, no followings, and it's a little bit harder to justify why people should spend the time talking to you. Some people still might be generous with their time, but it's an uphill battle. And now, thank you for all of you who are watching live and who is tuning in on your podcast apps. We do have quite a bit of followings that gives us more legitimacy to reach out to the people. And for them, it would make sense reaching out through us to you and bringing their ideas to your ears. So it's kind of how we help each other to get ahead.
Yeah. But also, sorry. You just go back, Paulina, because something happened there as well. Because you left, and Paulina, you accepted to join this podcast. What were you thinking when you said yes?
What you were thinking?
What were you thinking?
Let's try. I haven't tried it before. Let's see. So I think I met Andrea on the conference in Copenhagen again, and turned out that we both used to work in the same company beforehand. Just me in Denmark, Andrea in Sweden. And I got self-employed a bit before, so I was more open, and not very limited by the company I'm working to. So, I was like, okay, let's learn something, worst case.
But Paulina now has her own podcast. Paulina, do you want to make a plug?
No.
Okay.
Come on.
Then you would have to find it yourself.
I think, what is the name, right? I think I will remember the name and I'll come back to it. It's great. I mean, it's kind of interesting to talk with people in the industry, like learning from others is the key, right? And then also maybe if you can learn others, that's what I think I like most about this.
And another person who joined us twice, Johan, whose Danish name I will not try to pronounce, like last name, because I'm really bad with the Danish last names. Some of them are easier than others, but his last name is kind of hard. But Paulina might be able. She has more practice.
No, I give up.
Albiskov, Johan, I'm doing my best. Anyhow, so he actually also, like, after participating with us, he launched his own podcast, but that one he stopped doing after one. So, but that was like DevOps Dojo, I think.
Ah, that's right. Yeah,
it was quite good. I think you should keep going, Johan.
Yeah, you should. But interesting. That happened as well. So we did 100 episodes. What do you think we will do in the next 100? Will it take us 6 years? 6 years. 6 years.
Well, if you do weekly, then it's faster. So you have 52 weeks. Yeah. That's like 2 years worth of recording with some days off.
Some days off, yeah.
Participant in your thing.
Every meeting, but if you're more people, you don't have to do every. You can do different ones. Like if you have some guests, you get them rolling, and then the burden is not. It's more on the community level than on individuals, right?
I think like commitment for the next 100, if we are to do the next 100, would be to stay true to the topic. So we should like stick to the topic, try not to mutate everything AI podcast, because like that's what's happening right now with industry. I guess we're gonna have AI that's just hard to ignore because it also brings relevance to the topics we discussed. I mean, anthropic mythos, the supply chain attacks, enabling phishing, enabling people to build a half-baked shit and ship it quickly. I mean, it kind of has a relevance to what we're discussing here, but basically not become the AI first thingy, like as many other shows mutated. And actually, I have a second podcast now where I just do AI, so I can unload everything there and come back here. So if you search for agentic AI in DevOps, like if you don't have enough Andre in your life, there is more. There is
Can
more
get more
there.
for free.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I haven't started a second podcast. I just got you into this one, and then you create your own one. So Paulina has one, Andre, you don't have one, right?
No,
that's good.
I find out I'm more like a builder. Like I really like to play with things and then talking about them. That's why I don't have the. It's a lot of work, you know. I recognize that with this podcast that it's more time consuming that I care to invest. But yeah, the thing with the AI, it's more like we're going through a hype cycle again. After it was containers, then it was Kubernetes, and I feel we're going exactly in a similar fashion with AI, and I kind of like it because it's very telling how the base principle that we use that was considered good practice are even more relevant today. And that has still a lot of value because those machines can't understand what makes good software or good infra. And that's why CI/CD is hard. It's more like, well, it depends on your organization. How do human organize to make change to the system?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The AI cannot see that, so they need to communicate and work together. And that's I think we're living in very interesting times. It's the kind of where everything kind of feels possible.
Yeah.
Hopefully mostly good.
Well, still 40 years to the retirement, so
Yeah, we still have time.
40? Yeah, but you're young, Paulina. So that's the thing, right? I'm old. 40.
If you take the North Star, I mean, like I always say, Steve Gibson with Security Now podcast. I mean, he's doing an amazing job, and if we can get like 20% as good as Steve is, then that would be an achievement. But for him, it took a long professional career, so he has something to say. And now they're doing the security now for for 20 years. So it takes time. He was like very early in the podcasting there, together with Leo. But yeah, if you want a more security podcast, security now is always a good place to start. And I think like taking the next step toward that direction would be to do a better preparations. And like talking about the AI, that's actually quite easy right now with AI. So like for instance, for that episode, I have all the episodes locally in a repo with descriptions. I just run a cloud with a 1 million context window. All right, let's work on this information we have to shape it into the narrative. But then you can also build your own podcast preparation pipeline to generate the show notes and have a little bit of less wobbling as you described. So it's more concise, it's more crisp, it's better delivery, but still we need to keep that conversational tone.
The conversation, like when we meet and just like I seen this new tool, right? How can I get it working with it? What should I do, right? I heard about this tool on a conference. I heard like I see what is that like? But how should I get going? Like what's the first step I take by myself at my computer to get started? I think that's also important to get those people into the technology, into learning. And today, with AI, the biggest advantage is that you can learn anything today. You can get help with anything. It's great.
Okay, let me give you a breakdown on the topics. Like
yes, please.
I spent time preparing, so now we got to use it.
Yeah, funny. But it's also interesting to see like what are people listen to, like what are the topics they're picking, because we are also thinking and selecting, but what are people listen to in reality?
Yes, but I cannot say we are the views driven or like downloads driven show. So we actually the first decision we make is what we think is important rather than seeing to what auditory reacts. So there are people who just chase the hype, and then like whatever people talk about, they will talk about that. I mean, like take any of your politicians, they will do that. But we're kind of trying to steer the course that's unique to us as individuals, which kind of changes as individuals. Because if you remember the initial episodes, I would talk quite a bit about HashiCorp World, and then professionally, I just stopped using them. I realized that this is for the big organizations, and I'm not really working with the big organizations. So, anyhow, the industry themes that we covered. So we spoke about infrastructure as code. We spoke about Kubernetes. We did cover quite a bit of platform engineering. So we had at least 4 episodes on that topic, and potentially, I guess, it's going to be more. I mean, like those were like very focused on the platform engineering, but we will mention it briefly in some other episodes. Then the GitOps we did cover. We actually started with that as a second episode, and based on the research done by AI, which can make mistakes. 93% of organizations use or plan to use GitOps in 2026. We mentioned AI taking over the industry, and the show notes also suggesting it's taking over the show. So there are at least 10 episodes I could see. But another thing is that we actually started to cover it quite early, like with the ChatGPT and the agentic AI. We worked quite early with that. Another repeating narrative is supply chain security.
Of course.
We spoke about that, but now like it's really with the latest news, it's becoming an issue, and it's going from theoretical threat to the real thing that requires action and prioritization. Then number 7, I have things that faded or never landed. So we had an interview with a person who was doing Stardy, which was a Git successor. We haven't heard from them more. Web3, hype collapsed. Unikernels, still kind of niche. Might be quite applicable with the AI workload being built. Nomad kind of stayed niche, never went anywhere. There are still kind of people using it, but it did lost the orchestration war to Kubernetes. Service mesh, I mean, that was all the hype. Istio as default never happened. And the simpler ingress patterns were. HashiCorp Waypoint that we discussed a couple of times, that got discontinued. I didn't know that, so might be a mistake by AI. And then we also spoke quite a bit about cloud economics, compliance. Like in 2020, compliance was there was like HIPAA and PCI DSS, but now we actually being overloaded with all the compliance framework coming in and affecting the practitioners. And we also saw the rise of continuous compliance. We had an interview with Costly. They kind of doing that.
That's right.
There are tools like Secure Frame, Drata, and so on. I think that was it. And so there was, and also there is like the things that unmistakably evergreen, right? So we spoke about the infrastructure as code, immutable infrastructure, containers as units of deployment, the 3 pillars of observability. So observability is there. We're probably coming back to that. The branching and like Git branching strategies.
That was John, right? You
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He used to be a Git wizard. Now he's doing the other things at Uber. Then we had incident response, so that's kind of staying evergreen, something that still needs to be done. Hiring and career growth, we discussed that.
Yeah, that's right.
Communication, distributor teams becoming even more relevant. Secrets management and like multi-account landing zones. You can argue about.
It's a lot of things. I mean, 6 years, of course, we had a lot of topics. And a lot of guests that I can't even remember the names on, but yeah. I think, of course, Paul is coming back. It's always funny to have Paul, of course.
He is a frequent offender, yeah.
Yeah.
Regular offender.
Yeah, Henrik is also funny. He was with his old colleague to you, right, from Pragma. Yeah. There are some you remember when they show up, and then they disappear, right? But some remember the talks.
Yeah. So going forward, we should try to revisit all those evergreen topics for 2026.
Yeah.
Bring people who are relevant for the conversation, who might spend a lot of time thinking about those topics, so we're getting even better description. Nice thing is that now I have like my podcast processing pipeline, I have Cloud Code and Codex fighting each other to work out the decent kind of article description of what we discussed. So now it's actually feasible doing. Like before that, 5 years ago, we would need to hire someone to do a transcript and then someone to write the article. Now it's fully automated. Still, the output requires human touch, and I'm still like working on a pipeline. I'm not entirely happy with how they're turning out, but with every step, as models get more advanced, and we're tuning up the tools. Actually, I think it's gonna get only better from here.
Cool. One of the things that we did in the beginning, we had pretty long episode, like an hour. One of the things we did is like shorten them a little bit, and we are now at 30 minutes, which is around the time when we kind of realize that people don't want to listen to us anymore, right? It's the 30-minute talk, right?
I don't think our authority is not at that level, because there are people who do a lot of research and who do a very long podcast. Like I can name a few. I mean, hardcore history is with Carlin. I mean, he would rumble a little bit, but he still has a lot of research done. Security now that we already mentioned, 2 hour, 30 minutes episodes every week, but it's a good research. It's well explained. It's always time well spent. Acquired FM. I mean, amazing guys doing a lot of research. They come up maybe once a month, but there are long episodes. I would not mention the guy who got exclusive deal with Spotify. We probably shouldn't be using him as a North Star.
No. But Paulina, what do you see next half year? What are the topics you think we should aim for? Except you can't say AI because
Can't say AI.
No, you have to bring something else.
I mean, AI is in everything a bit, so you cannot really avoid it. So even, whatever topic you cover, you kind of have to cover also AI angle on it as well.
Yeah, true, but still.
So that's part. I still see, some of the companies looking into European stuff instead of US stuff if they can. There's still, I think, big boom with it with what's going on in the world. And Europe, I think, woke up a bit about, hey, let's do cloud, let's go away from Windows. I think recently, France also got away from Windows to Linux more.
Yes, please. Like, why?
Yeah.
What took you so long?
It's France. What do you expect?
It's like, like, forget about geopolitics. Like, it's just Windows. Like, just stop doing
Yeah. God. Oh my God. Yeah.
I teach from time to time. I still have developers popping with Windows machine and without Linux subsystem. Like, how the hell are you working?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
cool.
number one choice for game development and everything, but there is just like legacy never dies. Truly,
I think it's moving ahead. Like I was able to run Heroes of Might and Magic 3 on ARM-based Mac. There is a project called. Let me look it up very quickly. You will send me later.
But who could imagine that?
VCMI.
Who can imagine that gaming on Windows is the one that keeps most people locked down to Windows these days, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, no, I can't. I'm games. So I have to run Windows. Okay, but that's another topic we can
It's
bring
still
up.
a default system, which majority of computers get out with. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. True.
So I don't see, for example, my mother who's non-technical to switching suddenly to Linux or to something else.
Paulina, your mother is close in age as me, and I'm not running the Windows, so it's no excuse.
53?
Okay. But yeah. Yeah, cool. Andre, what do you see? Don't say AI. You have your own AI podcast. You can talk AI there as much as possible. But
no,
what kind
like
of topic?
I think I said a lot about what's coming. I think we have a right mix of the people doing the podcast because all three of us right now, the endurance athletes who just don't give up for whatever reason, even when they should, they just keep going. So we know how to do it. Did you know that Matthias did triathlon, Julia?
No.
Oh, I didn't know.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, so technically, three of us are triathletes if we wanna, to some extent. So we could launch the triathlete podcast as well. Like if DevSecOps FM is not enough, so that's another opportunity.
It's training. We can do training podcast instead, right? It's like training.
I mean, like I cannot say we have a huge podcast base because the topics that we discuss is kind of obscure and niche.
Yeah.
But then if we do like the DevSecOps people talking triathlon, I think there will be even more.
What's a chance?
we would be lucky to find like another 5 people to listen to that.
Yeah, that would be fun.
You can invite the guest as host now, at that point.
No, but that's great. I think I'm looking forward to the next episode as well. I think, as you said, Paulina, life is like the world is shifting and technology is coming, and it's nice to follow where we are. And when we don't have anybody telling us what we can record or what we should do, we can just go with our own feet where we want. Like EU Cloud is interesting if you can say EU Cloud, and of course, what will the AI do with all the tools? Like, what happened with all the tools? Like Terraform, are people going to run Terraform? Let's see.
I mean, like, I'm fine with Terraform, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind having something better. I spent this morning fighting the Terraform state. I would rather not to do that if I would have a better tool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
40 minutes. I think we're gonna end this episode 100.
Thanks for everyone who tuned in. Thanks to everyone who listened live.
Yes.
Thank you.
See you soon.
See you
Thank you
soon.
for
Thank you. Yeah, thank
Bye-bye.
you for showing up. Bye.
You have been listened to DevSecOps Talks with Matthias, Andre, and Paulina. For notes and information, please visit devsecops.fm. Thanks for tuning in.